Hey everybody. So I want to talk about the New Jersey Devils a little bit here because I don't think I've really talked about them much at all this season. They are not having a good year. Last season, New Jersey was a surprise playoff team. They played a lot better than anyone really expected. They won 44 games. They got 97 points. They made the playoffs in the East as the second wild card team. But when it comes down to it, the New Jersey Devils overachieved last year. They played a lot better than they should have given their roster. And Taylor Hall was the MVP. He had an MVP season. He was unbelievable for them. They had pretty good team defense, a lot better than anyone expected, and they snuck into a playoff spot. Then this past offseason, they did absolutely nothing. They did nothing to make that team better. They actually lost players, and they didn't really add anyone that contributes to the Devils at all. So they're not having a good year this year, and I want to delve into why they're not having a good year, why they're back down, probably where they should have been last year, but they overachieved last season. They are not overachieving this season. So through 26 games, New Jersey is 9-12-5. They're in last place in the Metropolitan Division. They have 75 goals for and 91 goals against for a negative 16 goal differential. That's a big problem right there. Their home record, they're actually really good on home ice. They're 7-2-4 on home ice. On the road, 2-10-1. 2-10-1 on the road. They cannot win a road game. I mean, why they're under 500, that's absolutely killing them. They cannot win a road game. Now, their power play is at 18.6% this year. Last season, their power play was 21.4%. So their power play is worse than it was last season. Their penalty kill this year is at 82%. Their penalty kill last year was at 81.8%. So slightly better, only 0.2%. Basically the same. So their penalty kill is still fine, but their power play has gotten a little bit worse. Goals for per game this season, 2.88. Last season, 2.96. So they're scoring less than they were last year. Their goals against per game, 3.50 this year, only 2.93 last year. They're giving up way more goals than they did last season. Taylor Hall, having a good year. He's still a point per game player. In 26 games played, he has 8 goals, 19 assists for 27 points. Not MVP level like he was last season, but still a point per game player. New Jersey only has one guy in double-digit goals, and that's Kyle Palmieri. He has 12 goals. He is the only New Jersey player to hit the double-digit goal mark yet this season. That is a huge problem because you have teams and you have guys with 20 goal scorers. Guys are at 20 goals already. Sure, that's near the top of the league, but there are multiple players at 20 goals already. And New Jersey has only one guy even in double digits. And it's Kyle Palmieri with 12. Not 15, not 18, 12. So goal scoring is a major, major problem for this team. Goals against are an even bigger problem. Keith Kincaid has been the starter this year. He's been okay. He has a .906 save percentage and a goals against just under 3. He's been an average NHL goaltender. Corey Schneider, who's been the backup, has been horrendous. His goals against is over 4. His save percentage is under 87%. He has yet to win a game this year. He's been awful. So when you look into it, New Jersey, their record is much worse than it was last year. They won 44 games last year. They are not going to win 44 games this year. They've only played 26 games, which is less than many teams, but only 1 or 2 games left, not enough for them to make any significant catch-up with their games in hand. 2.88 goals for per game is not going to win you many games in the NHL. especially when you're giving up 3.5 goals per game. And when it comes down to it, the major issue with this team is their goals against. They are not playing defense the way that they did last year. They are not getting the goaltending that they did last year. And that is why they made the playoffs last year and overachieved. And this year, they're a last place team. That is the main difference. It's the goaltending and team defense. They are giving up way too many goals. Their scoring is down a little bit, and that absolutely hurts them, but they are giving up way too many goals. You cannot give up 3.5 goals per game and expect to win at the NHL level. It just doesn't happen. If you're around 3, that's fine if you score 3.5. If you're a high-flying offensive team like Toronto or the Lightning or someone like that, you can give up 3 goals a game and be fine if you score 3.5. They score 2.88 goals per game. They're giving up 3.5. The road record is another really concerning thing, but I think the number one issue is the goals against. The road record's a close number 2. 2-10-1 on the road. They cannot win outside of their own building. Unfortunately, you play half the season outside of your own building. So, it's not a good situation to be in for the Devils. This Devils team is much more what I expected them to be last year. I think because they made the playoffs and overachieved so much last season, the expectations were a little bit higher going into this season. I didn't have them making the playoffs this season because I didn't think they could do it 2 years in a row. I think I'm being proven right on that. This is not a team that's going to make the playoffs. This is not a team that's going to be able to recreate what they did last season. They're a worse team this year than they were last year. So, when it comes down to it, the New Jersey Devils, this is much more what I expected from them last season. I think it's taken people a little bit by surprise that they've gotten so much worse this year as opposed to last year, but I'm not overly surprised. I didn't think they'd be this bad, but I didn't think they'd be a playoff team again. They're an okay NHL team, and now they're not getting the goaltending. They're not keeping the puck out of their net, and Taylor Hall is not playing at an elite MVP level. He's playing at a very good level, but not the ridiculous doing all the team scoring that he did last year. So the New Jersey Devils will not make the playoffs this year. And I think the biggest reason why is team defense. They're giving up way too many goals. They also can't win on the road, and Taylor Hall has not been able to put the team on his back and carry them to wins the way that he could last year. So those are all big issues for the Devils, and I think this Devils team is much closer to what they really are than what we saw last year, where I believe they greatly overachieved last season. And they overachieved and were still only in the playoffs by 1 point. So, how good were they really? This is much more normal for what I would expect from a team with this roster. So, sorry, Devils fans, but your team has come back down to earth. Maybe even fallen a little bit further than anyone expected. Their goaltending has been not very good at all, and they're giving up way too many goals. So that's why the Devils find themselves in the spot that they're in, and why they will not be a playoff team this year. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media, check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the link to our Patreon as well as our merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Don't forget about the live stream tonight, Tampa Bay versus Boston. And thank you very much for watching this video. Hope to see you tonight, and I will talk to you guys soon.